This is the cream of the crop.
What's up, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome in to Week 3 of the MVP Power Rankings. I am Colin the Crow Clark, and we're trying to still adjust a few things, still try to take some of the advice under the umbrella and just figure out what we could do with it best. Last week, we finished out with our power rankings. Coming in at number 5 was Demon, number 4 being Chaos, 3 Explosive, 2 Precision, and number 1 Monkeys. Well, this week, we've had a bit of a power shift. We had some big wins, some big losses. We had a few upsets. We even had a few teams have a player completely drop out of the standings, and all of those are going to be captured here in the next few minutes. We're going to talk over some of their stats, some of their highlights and their lowlights, but for right now, I'm just going to kick things off. Like I said when I first debuted this little series in this video set, I'm going to try to keep this kind of short, sweet, and to the point. I don't want to drag on and waste everybody's time. I'm going live. I just want everybody to kind of come in, talk about my picks, see what you think, get some feedback from the chat. But we're going to move things right along, ladies and gentlemen, to number 5 this week. Making his MVP Power Rankings debut was the clutchest man in the entire world of Gears Esports last week. That is without a doubt this man right here. I'm bringing it at number 5, making his debut. That is going to be Toady.
This is the cream of the crop.
Making his Pro League MVP race debut. I know his stats aren't going to be as flash and dash as some of you might like to think, but Toady comes in with an 11 kill average with 176 kills overall. Not as impressive as some of our higher ups, but the thing I want everybody to be very mindful of, his KD still plus 13 with a 1.08 KD and his KDA being at 2.22. If you look at those assists, he is around the map in every sense of the word. He is helping his team out, but more importantly, most of his kills are coming in very devastating fashions against his opponents. He's getting 1 and 2 pieces in clutch moments where he has to get a kill in order to secure a hill, secure a decap, or provide pressure on the opposite side of the map. Toady, for me, has really put his best foot forward this past week and has made a name for himself in the MVP race. He's going to get one of my votes going forward. I think you cannot forget a guy like Toady moving forward. He is one of the best, and he is bringing Noble around the bend. He is getting that team sized up and ready to go for that major. Coming in at our number 4 spot, though, we might not have a picture of him or a graphic, but everybody that plays against him knows damn well what he looks like, and that is going to be Absence from Carnage Gaming. He is coming in at the number 4 spot this week. As you can tell, he's definitely a slayer for them. 249 kills, lacking a little bit in the assist department with that comparison, and he's a bit high on deaths, but that's just the way Carnage is set up. They are a pressure offense type team. They like to play a lot of rounds. They're going to get a lot of kills, but they're also going to rack up those deaths. So one of the things that I'd like to see Absence and the rest of Carnage Gaming do as they move forward, not just continue to get those impressive victories, not just to continue to apply pressure to their opponents, but I want to see him clean up some of those deaths. He's only at a plus 17, 1.07 KD. Those assists are going to jack him all the way up to a 1.67, but if you look at it, 12.89 deaths average per map. That's a little bit too much for me to feel comfortable putting him much higher and saying that his play is really putting him over the top going forward in this list. Our biggest change, though, from last week to this week, outside of who just simply dropped out of our top 5, is the man next. He actually moved up 1 spot, and he actually moved up 1 spot being the most impressive player to me still. I can't sing his praises enough. Coming in at number 3 on Colin the Crow Clark's MVP Power Rankings is going to be Chaos from Fire and Ice, ladies and gentlemen. He goes from 4 to 3, but he does it in a very impressive fashion. Take a look at his KD real quick. He's 60 over on a team that's right there in the middle of the pack that keeps having those start and stutter performances, and we all keep having our questions about when we're going to see the Fire and Ice of old. Well, Chaos, he is back to his perfect image. He's back to having that stature in the league as one of the best players standing, one of the best players breathing. 15.87 kills, averaging out his maps. He even drops the deaths of Absence down, so I mean, pound for pound, if you just take a look at his stats and how he's performing in those columns, you're going to be able to see that Chaos is one of the better players on the planet. But without a doubt, the thing that's impressed me the most by Chaos is his ability to help his teammates while maintaining his own life. He's getting all those extra kills. He's pumping up his KD, but he's always rotating to help his teammates, whether it be with a Lancer, an extra shotgun in the fight, getting those double shot downs that Fire and Ice is becoming famous for right now. He is doing it on he's just doing it in spades right now. He is allowing his teammates to play a little reckless, to play a little forward, because Chaos is popping off each and every map, and he's forcing every other team to make mistakes because they have to account for him, whether it's bring somebody to help in a 1v1 because they know Chaos is probably going to win it, or it's rotating their defense or their offense entirely circulated around Chaos because of how well he has been playing. Ladies and gentlemen, we have a shake-up at the top, though, with a very, very upsetting defeat this week and not performing very well at all in any of the maps that they played on the night that I got to cast over them. I had to go ahead and make a switch up at the top of this leaderboard. Coming in at number 2 this week, we've got Monkeys from the Pittsburgh Knights. Now, he's still very impressive. He's still very consistent. 103 extra kills over Death, giving him that 1.61. And if you look at that score, he's averaging over 10,000 score a map. He is doing it in all facets: decap, recap, assists, his kills, not dying around the map. He is making sure the Pittsburgh Knights are finding themselves in winning situations time and time again. My issue comes with kind of the deflating defeat they've had. They've looked completely unstoppable for weeks on end, and they come out and they get put in their place, basically, for a couple of maps. They don't look like the Pittsburgh Knights we've gotten to see every week. Monkeys, he was still pretty consistent, but it was below par for all of his stats this past week in their matchup. I had to drop him down to number 2. I thought that they were going to continue to go on their roll, continue to stay that team that was head and shoulders better and best above the rest. But Monkeys, he's still going to get my number 2 nod. He's still going to be the second best player on the planet, if you ask me, and I think he's well deserving of that position. But right now, the guy that's playing the best in the entire league, hands down, bar none, if you ask me, it's Precision, ladies and gentlemen. I couldn't have gone with anybody else besides him in this number 1 spot. Yes, he doesn't have the same score as Monkeys does. His KD with his plus 96 to Monkeys plus 103 isn't as impressive. But if you look what Precision and Acels were capable of doing this past week against UYU, who gave Pittsburgh Knights a run for their money, we're still going to get to see that matchup coming up, Vanquish versus Pittsburgh Knights. But if you got to see what Vanquish was capable of doing, where they applied pressure offensively throughout every single round, throughout the entirety of the map, and it was on the backs of Precision and Acels getting all those kills and really providing lanes for the rest of them to move around the map and get easy triple caps, to get easy double caps, and really build their points up against their opponents. I can't help but give the nod to Precision. He has probably played the best Slayer role, pure Slayer role, and front spawn position of anybody in the league. And one of the things he continues to do better than anybody else right now standing is those initial icebreakers, getting those initial few kills, setting up on those mid-neutrals, providing pressure from home to homes in certain maps and situations. Precision, for me, gets the nod at number 1. I can't tell you how impressed I've been with them all this pro league, and especially with his play in these last few weeks. I can't sing those praises enough. I really cannot. I think we've got to go back, though. We're going to come back here, talk a little bit more about it over at this main screen. Here we go, ladies and gentlemen. I've even brought them up so that you can remember in case you forgot them. Let's talk about who's out first. Last week, Demon was in there at the number 5 position. Explosive, he was in there at the number 3 position. Both of them gone the most out of the power rankings for week number 3. Who's in, though? I brought in Tody from Noble. He was unbelievably clutch all night long, and we said he had to be, and he performed for his team. When the bright lights are on and you know that everybody's watching you to perform and expecting you to perform at a high level, you are going to have to deliver, and he delivered in spades, and nobody can tell me otherwise. Tody gets my nod this week coming into these power rankings for the MVP of this Gears Esports Pro League, as well as Absence. Look, Taylor Reflections Nobles was singing Absence's praises all week. He said, look, Colin, you got to keep an eye on Absence. Look, I'm betting on Absence. Look, if Absence is going to make a play over here. I really kept doubting it. I kept putting it on a guy like Dyslexic. I said, he's going to be the one that's the playmaker for them. He's going to be the one that's going to continue to be that human highlight reel for Carnage Gaming. But Absence, with his play around the map, especially amid neutral fights on bunker, Absence really put his team in positions to win those rounds and allow themselves to get round leads and put other teams in the rearview mirror, especially on a map like bunker. I thought Absence was really impressive all week long in every single one of their matches, so I had to bring him in. Our biggest gainer of the week for me, because I'm splitting hairs between monkeys and precisions. The biggest gainer to me was bringing Chaos up to number 3, and he's creeping up, ladies and gentlemen. He is not just sitting back at number 3. Fire and Ice continues to improve. They continue to put themselves in a position to win maps, therefore matches, and it's on the backs of some MVP-type performances and high-caliber play from Chaos. So I move him up to number 3. Monkeys and Precisions, we're still splitting hairs between them, but I think Pittsburgh Knights had a more deflating defeat than Vanquish had with their victory over UYU. So I had to give the nod to Precisions this week, especially with Acels being his right-hand man, putting that kind of pressure on everybody from week to week.